Wait for the live stream to start.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Now you're good.
Oh, now I'm good. Okay. Thank you very much. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. This is it's September 14th, and we're having a meeting of the Healthcare Funding Roles and Responsibilities Task Force. Now I can take a breath after that big line. We'll call this meeting to order. And is there any declaration of interest, pecuniary or otherwise, members? Seeing none, I would ask that if one comes up during the course of the meeting that you declare it at that time. We are going to have a delegation from Georgian College. Oh, hello, Barb. Welcome. Can you hear us? It looks like Barb is just joining in, so we'll give her a chance to do that. Barb, are you good to go? Will not have connected properly. We'll allow her some time. But we are having a delegation today from Georgian College. Kim, perhaps I could turn it over to you to make introductions, and then we'll have that delegation. Nice to have you all.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Warden. Certainly, it's been some time since this committee's had an opportunity to meet. Our schedule was interrupted by COVID, and it's so nice to welcome everyone back. It's especially nice today to welcome a delegation from our friends and partners at Georgian College. I think they have some really exciting news to share with regard to the nursing program there, something that we've all been eagerly anticipating for a long time. So with us this afternoon, we have Dr. Mary Lynn Westmoyne, the President and CEO of Georgian College, David Bell, the AVP, Advancement and Alumni Relations, who's been really, I think, spearheading some of their advancement efforts. Sarah Landshear, the Associate Dean of the Nursing Degree Program, Kevin Weaver, who many of you know, who's the VP Academic, and Sheila West, the Dean of Health and Wellness Sciences. So thank you to Georgian for making all these great folks available to us this afternoon, and I'll turn it over to you now. Thank you. Well, Mary Lynn's on mute. Have we have an audio issue, do you think?
No, you don't have an audio.
Oh, perfect.
Kim, it's Mary Lynn here. You have a technical problem with the operator. So let me first of all just begin by thanking everyone, and I want to share with you a little bit about how we spent our morning, and it would be we, because I believe everybody except David Bell, who's on the call, was on campus in Barrie when unfortunately we had a lockdown following the sight of an individual that was reportedly carrying two guns. So we've had a very interesting morning here. I'm very pleased to report that we ran our protocol, and the Barrie police were outstanding, and you know, the individual was found, and they actually were not real guns, they were air guns, but you know, better to be safe than sorry. And so if we appear a little discombobulated, it would be because of that. And so you know, all of that as a beginning to say, you know, we work and support 7 campuses throughout our very large community, and they're all dynamic. And as I am most times, I was really proud of the relationship we had in this case with Barrie, but we would have the same relationship in your community, and in partnership, how we were able to, with the local police, resolve a difficult situation. And everybody's safe and sound, so it's good. So let me begin, Warden Hicks, by saying it's nice to see you. We serve on the SWIFT board together, so I get a chance to see you a bit, but it's nice to see the counselors of Grey County and the members of the Grey County Health Care Task Force, and of course, administrators and guests. It's nice to be able to see people again, and I can't tell you, I'm sure you feel the same, how much we can't wait to be in person. And for those of you I've not had the chance to meet, I am Mary Lynn Westmoynes, the president of Georgian College. I'm very proud of our organization and even more proud of the relationships we have with the communities that we serve. Before we get into our presentation at hand, I want to take just a few moments to acknowledge how much we appreciate the chance to be with you today, virtually, to talk about nursing in our healthcare system. Needless to say, the last 18 months have been extraordinary, and unlike anything, any of us have ever experienced. And certainly, it's fair to say that higher education has been challenged, although we've had some incredible opportunity. We've had to pivot, we've had plan B, C, D, and the same as you have in the municipal and county governance sector. But for the most part, when I look back, I think as a society and as a community, we have so much to be proud of. Last week, it was the start of our fall term at Georgian. And while campus life has still quite a bit different than it was before COVID-19, there are many positive signs that things are slowly returning to the vibrant and diverse campus experience that we all cherish so much. And together with the new learning opportunities and digital innovation, we've been able to put in place over the last 2 years an experience that really delivers so much more for students, and both in their remote learning, but also on the student experience side. We have over 9,000 full-time students studying with us this term, and about 3,000 students taking part in some in-person learning on most of our 7 campuses. We decided in the winter that we would not be as aggressive as some of the other institutions have planned to be this fall. And I think with the variant, we're feeling that that was a good decision for us. But as I said, approximately about 3,000 students are coming to campus, and we continue to prioritize their health and safety along with faculty, staff, and the broader community. Probably if I looked back over the 18 months, what I'm so proud about is that we never lost our resolve or our focus on students and the communities that we serve. And the fact that we knew coming out of COVID, whenever it is, that we need to have a sustainable workforce for our communities to stay prosperous. So I'm delighted to be here with my colleagues today. And let me just say, I've brought along the very best experts we have at Georgian to share the details about our new 4-year degree in nursing that we will be launching next September in Owen Sound and in Barrie, pending ministry final approval, which we expect any day. And I can talk a little bit more about later, as will some of my colleagues. With me, we have Sheila West, Dean of Health, Wellness and Sciences at Georgian. She's a registered nurse and joined our team in 2019 after 14 years of distinguished service at Humber College. Dr. Sarah Lancashire, Associate Dean of Health, Wellness and Sciences. Sarah is a registered nurse also, and was appointed Associate Dean in July of 2020 and has served as a faculty member at Georgian since 2015. Kevin Weaver, who many of you will have met, is the Vice President Academic, has been a member of our senior team at Georgian since 2016 and joined in 2014. And I know he's connected with some of you in the past. And of course, he's from your community, so he knows the community well. And David Bell, who is our Associate Vice President of Advancement, who joined the team in 2019 and leads the Department of Professionals focused on staying connected with our graduates and working with stakeholders to build new corporate and philanthropic partnerships here at Georgian. As you're going to hear from us today, there's a great deal of exciting and critical work underway that will benefit your region, our students, in the future. I know by the end of the presentation, you'll be as excited as I am about the incredible opportunity that lies ahead, and particularly about our plans for adding new value to the Owen Sound campus and bringing solutions to the healthcare sector in Grey County. I know we have limited time to speak, so we'll go through this as quickly and provide a comprehensive proposal and backgrounder through the clerk's office in advance of today's meeting. So over the next 20 minutes, we're going to take you on a journey. We're going to start with a bit of reality check on the current state of the sector in health and some critical warnings that are too familiar to all of us, and I know you are dealing with. Next, we want to spend a good portion of our time with you detailing how we've invested significant time, as you know, and effort over the last 5 years to secure the legislative right to offer a nursing degree for our students on standalone basis. And what I mean by standalone is just as it sounds, Georgian alone, no collaborative agreement with any other college or university. What we're talking about today is Georgian designed and issued Bachelor of Science nursing degree, our BSCN, Central Ontario's first standalone 4-year honors Bachelor of Science nursing that will launch in 2022 here in Owen Sound and be part of the solution to closing the gap on nursing in Grey County. To get ready for this trailblazing program for our region, we'll describe the exciting transformation that will take place at the Owen Sound campus to create a nursing and wellness wing outfitted with leading edge equipment and technology to prepare our nurses for what our region needs and for what our community feels are important. And we'll wrap up with a discussion about the power of collaboration and what it has meant to Georgian to have the confidence and support of Grey County across so many of our college ecosystems. This program and initiative will deliver impact across the regions we serve, will be deeply rooted in what our communities need, and is designed to attract local students passionate about the rural and suburban healthcare system. Finally, we're going to leave time to answer any questions that you might have. So I'm going to turn it over to Sarah, who has the heart of this program. You're in great hands, folks.
Making sure that I am also unmuted as well. So thanks very much, Mary Lynn, and good afternoon, everyone. It's a real pleasure to have this opportunity to meet with you. As the headlines on the screen appear more and more often, our hospitals are stretched beyond their limits and there just aren't enough nurses and other healthcare professionals. I've been a nurse for 38 years. Nursing is a true passion for me, and I'm really worried about the future when I read study after study about the burnout rate and the high exit rates from our profession. For instance, the Canadian Federation of Nurses Unions report that 60% of nurses said they would leave their jobs within the next year. It also says Canadian nurses' average overtime hours has increased 78% since the beginning of the pandemic. You would have also perhaps seen in the press just last week the joint statement from the Canadian Nurses Association and the Canadian Medical Association, who are calling upon all political parties to immediately commit to support healthcare workers and address the issues of staff shortages and burnout. In the op-ed, there was one line that really stood out for me that stated very specifically, the reality is without health workers, there simply is no healthcare. And in conversations with my nursing colleagues, I know firsthand the struggles that you're facing in your communities and your institutions. We have a growing elderly population and a growing mental health crisis exacerbated by the pandemic. In times of crisis, it can sometimes be hard to think about the long term and to think about just what's around the corner instead of what's in front of us. The work we have done here at Georgian is about securing a more sustainable future for our region, a vision shared by Grey County. And to get us there, we need more quality programs finely tuned to the healthcare needs of our communities. At this point in time, I'll now ask my colleague Sheila to share some remarks as well.
Thanks, Sarah. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to have this opportunity to meet each of you. Quite clearly, what you are hearing is the need for nurses. The need to bring solutions to this ever-widening healthcare worker shortage is now. Without getting carried away with analogies, I will use this one. This is a perfect storm. We have aging populations throughout our regions with new and more complex care requirements, a profession where nurses are retiring at a record pace or leaving the profession because they are burnt out. And finally, we have a healthcare system that is under radical transformation and facing new disruptive forces every day. I know that in the vaccine immunization clinics, as I've attended them and we had one here on campus, that many of those nurses that picked up the added contract took a leave of absence from their acute care bedside jobs just to have a break. And I, like Sarah, with many nursing colleagues in the profession, for over the years, many are deciding it's time to retire and they're actually choosing an early retirement. While I'm relatively new to the team at Georgian, I've had the privilege of meeting graduates of our nursing and healthcare programs who graduated decades ago. In addition, I have aging parents that live in the Blue Mountain area, and they are still independent, but many times I accompany them on many of their healthcare visits. And I find myself always engaging with the fellow nurses in conversation. And my number one question I ask, being in post-sec for so long, is, where did you graduate? And it's consistently Georgian is the response in the Bruce Grey County. Educating nurses is a proud tradition at Georgian for almost 50 years. So it's fair to say we're not new at this. We have decades of successful graduates in the sector and respect and partnership with the community stakeholders all across our region. As a college that currently offers the first 2 years of a collaborative BSCN with York University, as well as practical nursing and personal support worker programs, we are being inundated with calls from all over. And more recently, in the past couple of weeks, United States has reached out asking to do virtual job fairs to our students and trying to attract them to the States. Quite often they give offering of signing bonuses, first and last month rent paid, and moving expenses, because this nursing shortage isn't just in Central Ontario, it's worldwide. About half of our students who complete the Georgian York BSCN stay in Toronto and don't come back to work in Central Ontario because they've had an opportunity with a job in their final placement and they've made the contacts in the city. Great for Toronto, but this does not work for rural Ontario. We need our graduates here that are immersed in the community from day one of the 4-year journey. And that's why we had to change the way prospective nurses can access education in Ontario. The reality is most students just want to be able to go to school and work close to home, where their family and friends are, and where they've made a life for themselves. Because of the leadership of our president and such dedicated and strong support from Grey and Bruce counties and so many of our partners across the region, we were delighted to see the provincial government announce the new nursing education policy last February that will allow community colleges to offer a Bachelor of Science nursing degree independent of a university partner. And since that day at our Owen Sound campus, where many of you joined us, we have been ramping up and getting ready for this huge next step for nursing education at Georgian. Next slide, and back to Sarah.
Thanks, Sheila. We knew before the pandemic that the sector was in dire straits, and unfortunately, the pandemic has only turned a spotlight on our overburdened healthcare system. When the pandemic eases, that massive nursing shortage is not going to go away. Georgian has been working on the solution, and pending one final approval at the provincial level, which we're looking forward to receiving any day now, we will begin offering our first 4-year Bachelor of Science nursing degree at our Owen Sound and Barrie campuses next September. This new program, coupled with additional students from high demand programs such as personal support worker, practical nursing, police foundations, paramedics, acute care paramedic, and development services worker, will allow Georgian to deliver a powerful boost to the talent pipeline that is so desperate for skilled and trained graduates. I've had a chance to familiarize myself with the population growth studies for this region, as well as the demographics throughout Grey and Bruce regions. At this moment, this region is having a massive growth spurts, and it doesn't like it's not going to be ending anytime soon. Coupled with this, the increasingly high expectations citizens have for their healthcare systems, the need for nurses to be educated and trained locally has never been greater. I often use the phrase homegrown or grow your own solution to the problem, and that's exactly what we're doing here. The foundation for the entire Georgian BSCN curriculum has a focus on the various communities that we serve and the unique healthcare needs of those various populations, specifically looking at areas of rural healthcare, aging and health through a unique focus of gerontology, Indigenous health practices, a Francophone community, and of course, the overall areas of mental health as well. Specifically, as an example of this, in year one, we've developed a course called Knowing, Understanding, and Responding to Your Community, which will introduce students to our various communities, the social determinants of health, and the basic healthcare needs and scenarios distinct to our communities. As well, there's a theme woven through various aspects of the curriculum regarding the context of where people live. So the different regions, urban, rural, and the impact this has on health, wellness, and access to services. This would be an element when looking at the distinct care needs in our 4 main targeted populations, as I've mentioned: seniors, Indigenous peoples, Francophone, and those with mental health considerations. We are also envisioning placement opportunities in some of these smaller regional health centers. And with the 7 sites associated with Grey Bruce Health Systems, this will be a great source of rural experiences that will just add to the student learning opportunities. In addition, as long-term care undergoes significant modernization, we know that BSCN graduates will have a role to play, especially as that sector looks to increase the proportion of nurses working in long-term care and the call for increased nursing hours due to the rising acuity and complexity of the residents in long-term care. And I'll now actually pass it over to my colleague, Kevin Weaver.
Thank you, Sarah, and good afternoon. It's a pleasure to see many familiar faces and an opportunity to spend time with you. Like all of us in today's delegation, I'm honored to be here. For me, this nursing expansion project really hits home, and for a number of reasons. I was born and raised in Hanover. My mother was a lifelong registered nurse with Hanover and District Hospital. My niece, who's from the region, is currently studying nursing, and she would have loved to come to Georgia and Owen Sound to study all 4 years, and she wants to be in rural healthcare. And my aunt, also a nurse, is a director of resident care at a long-term care home in the county. So needless to say, it touches very close to home for me. While I live in Barrie now, I know the demands that fall on the shoulders of the region and its municipal members as you deliver quality rural health programs. I'm very proud of this new BSCN degree, and like all other Georgian programs, it will respond to evolving needs of this community and surrounding areas, and we take great pride in that at Georgian. As Sarah explained, through consultation and years of collaboration with clinical placement partners, Georgian's BSCN has been designed to attract and retain students within our local communities so they can attend post-secondary education closer to home. And as you just heard, students will immediately benefit from a curriculum and program delivery approach that supports their diverse backgrounds and allows them to achieve their educational career goals within their own communities with state-of-the-art equipment and experiential learning opportunities. Georgian's degree will meet the rigorous standards required for all registered nursing programs: accreditation, quality review, approval by the College of Nurses of Ontario, and national registration examinations for all graduates. And I can tell you that the approval pathway is a comprehensive one. Georgian is hitting all the approval milestones with top marks. Our dissolution plan with our current partner, our business case for the new program, our College of Nurses approval, our post-secondary education quality assessment board, where we got rave reviews on the curriculum. So we're doing it well, we're doing it right, we're doing it the Georgian way. Back to you, Sheila.
Sorry, that mute button just keeps moving. Given the current structure of the collaborative program, Georgian works with the BSCN students for their first 2 years and then they leave. Upon learning that Georgian will soon have a standalone nursing degree, A phrase has started to resonate in the Georgians nursing area. We now get to finish what we started. That's a powerful statement. It speaks to the commitment that our nursing faculty, of which 40% are now PhD prepared, have for their roles and for their future nurses they are training. Overall, the level of credential and experience within our faculty roster for the nursing program is very impressive and growing each day. We have already begun to hire more faculty who hold doctorate degrees and just welcomed Dr. Dina Brickford, RN, a permanent addition to our faculty team on the Owen Sound campus, who is actively working with local stakeholders already. Our faculty are talented, experienced, and experts in their field. And most importantly, they live locally and are committed to their students and their community. As you are starting to learn, this program is technology and innovation rich. The state-of-art simulation laboratories and equipment we will construct in Owen Sound and will allow future nurses to learn in a real-life environment where they can succeed and safely learn from their mistakes. Simulation equipment, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and digital tools all provide students an immersive experience mirroring the settings they will face in their careers. Students can safely practice and perfect the critical decision-making and procedures that will someday administer to the real patients. Students in other health and community programs studying at the Owen Sound campus will also benefit from the new labs and equipment, including practical nursing, personal support worker, policing, and many others. Back to you, Kevin.
There are many components of this initiative that are very exciting, but perhaps what stands out most for me is the multifaceted impact that this program and our investment in the Owen Sound campus will have. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to create a program and a state-of-the-art facility, all targeted to the specific and complex needs of the local communities in Grey County. A sustainable human health workforce underpins so much. And it is this workforce that is essential to a well-functioning society and economy in so many ways. We also see this symbiotic relationship here, and one that doesn't work without the other. Having well-staffed hospitals, long-term care homes, and other healthcare facilities is more important than ever. And we've seen the devastating toll the pandemic has had. Through Georgian's BSCN degree program, Grey County will have a human resource pipeline for healthcare sustainability into the future. Let me tell you, our various clinical agency partners are very excited about this. We consistently hear that from them. For instance, we received a letter just very recently from Gary Sims, CEO and President of Grey Bruce Health Services, in which he stated, and I quote, "We cannot overstate the direct and positive impact that this local BSCN program will have on our ability to provide quality care to patients throughout Grey Bruce region." Grey Bruce Health Services has 6 hospitals within 40 minutes of the Owen Sound campus. We are the second largest employer in the area with a staff of 1,900, 650 of those whom are nurses. Recruitment is an ongoing challenge for us. In addition to the province-wide shortage of RNs, a large percentage of our nursing staff are 45 years and older and will be eligible to retire within 5 years. End quote. Right now, Georgian collaborates with more than 30 clinical placement partners in the region. Students will get hands-on experience in clinical placements through the healthcare continuum from birthing unit to palliative care, and with these partners in local hospitals, long-term care homes, and community agencies. Our BSCN annual fall intake at the Owen Sound campus will be 30 students, ensuring small class sizes for students to get to know their faculty and each other better, and also to ensure that they have access to the best possible clinical placements. We will attract students in this region who want to get their nursing degree here so that they can stay close to home, learn, and work here. We will also draw in students from all over Ontario who will train here and stay here to work. As students, they'll rent apartments, buy groceries, and spend money on entertainment. As career nurses, they'll buy homes and cars, raise their families, and make a life in this region. Between our Owen Sound and Barrie campuses, it is projected that Georgian's new BSCN program will have approximately 105 graduates annually, beginning when our first cohort of students graduates in 2026 and each year after that. In addition, Georgian's commitment to supplying healthcare employees in this region extends into preparing students to be practice ready for other high demand healthcare occupations like practical nursing and personal support worker. This will undoubtedly strengthen our economic impact in Grey and Bruce counties. As you read in our materials, this past fiscal year, Georgian's Owen Sound campus added $93.5 million in income to the Grey Bruce economy, and the proposal shared with you in advance of today breaks our student and alumni impact down even further. We expect another significant result of our BSCN program will be attracting industry here, as two of the most important components for companies looking to relocate or open in a region are education and healthcare for their employees. The BSCN program on our Owen Sound campus will further benefit Grey County's economy, healthcare, and social fabric. Investing in Georgian's nursing degree is an investment in individual futures and our collective future. I will now pass it along to David Bell.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to have this opportunity to meet with you. And as you saw in our background materials, we're already underway with our renovation journey at the Owen Sound campus to create a nursing and wellness wing and purchase leading edge equipment to support this exciting new BSCN program that will begin in September 2022. The estimated cost of this Owen Sound renovation is $7.1 million. And this is going to facilitate a transformation to our existing footprint for our nursing students and other high demand professions, as Kevin just mentioned. Specifically, as part of this renovation, as you would have seen in your advanced materials, it includes upgrading over 9,200 square feet. And I'm just going to move ahead in the slide deck here to show you. Over 9,200 square feet of space within the Owen Sound campus to create a nursing and wellness wing that will include 2 health sector flex skill labs where students can practice low fidelity to medium fidelity learning experiences, including basic skills, vital signs, activity of daily living, lifting, and moving clients safely. It'll be equipped with task trainers, low fidelity mannequins, medication carts, IV pumps, hospital beds, medication carts, and the like. 2 high fidelity simulation labs, and this is where students are able to interact with the voice activated, sophisticated, lifelike high fidelity mannequins, collect both subjective and objective information from the client while doing an assessment. Each bed space within this space is going to be equipped with all the items that you would normally see in a patient's hospital room, similar to that of an intensive care unit. This includes a hospital bed, bedside table, over the bed table, fully functioning head wall with suction, oxygen, blood pressure, vital signs equipment, emergency call bell, and power outlets. And finally, a teaching apartment, because we know home care is an important part of healthcare. This space will support learners to participate in a simulated home healthcare visit. This space replicates a 1-bedroom apartment that is equipped with fully functioning appliances, furniture, and equipment. And we will have a large capacity multi-purpose classroom. This space will be completely adaptable based on teaching needs and group work. It will facilitate conferences, large classes, and other activities. In addition, in the 9,200 square feet, we'll be including debriefing and conferencing spaces, which are an important part of the simulated experience. Each room will be equipped with a table and chairs, a whiteboard, large flat screen TVs for a video playback that allows for live streaming with faculty of the simulations in the high fidelity environment. This space allows other students, faculty, and participants to observe, critique, and debrief after the simulation experience. To outfit this dynamic learning environment, we will purchase new state-of-the-art equipment to ensure the simulation labs are equipped with the latest technology and innovation, such as simulation mannequins, audiovisual equipment, and virtual reality-ready computers. Real-life training will benefit our BSCN students, as well as students studying in other vital high-demand programs like personal support worker, practical nursing, and developmental services worker. Transformation of this learning environment in Owen Sound will have an extraordinary impact on the health communities and the healthcare facilities in Grey County. Quite frankly, this new nursing wing, once complete, is going to be a regional showpiece, one that everyone in the region can be very proud of. It will provide the very best learning environment for our new nursing degree and other high demand health and wellness related programs. Most importantly, it's going to educate and train the talent our community needs. 21st century ready nurses, training locally and ready to help ease the critical healthcare shortage of workers in this region. I'm now going to pass it back to Mary Lynn.
Well, thanks. And my colleagues are going to panic a little bit because I'm going to go off script here. You know, it's 1:37 and we've been talking at you a little bit. So let me wrap up our section with 5 key points. You have been great partners with us, and I want to reinforce that, you know, our proud history of working together around the Algoma Central Marine Emergency Center. It's been a successful economic development project, and we've been able to sustain a differentiating element to our Owen Sound and Grey County campus. So I want to thank you for that. And then let me just say, if you had not stepped up and advocated with us, I'm not totally sure the province of Ontario would have had degree nursing. But what you and your teams and many politicians were able to do is help our government leaders understand that in rural and urban healthcare, we have a different needs. And that if we want to sustain healthcare out of the large urban areas, we have to have degree nursing closer to home. And that's why our minister came to Owen Sound to make the announcement for the first time. And credit goes to you for your advocacy on that, because he wanted to go there to make the announcement. Our program's going to be unique, and my colleagues haven't bragged, but I'll do a little bragging for them because I get no credit for this. We were the first nursing degree program to submit to the College of Nurses that did not have any revisions to the curriculum. That's never happened in the history of any university, any joint college university proposal going there. First program that the College of Nurses did not ask us to change the curriculum. And I think it speaks to the caliber of our staff. New facilities are important to deliver this program, but this program will help us sustain the college campus because we're going to have 4 years of nursing degree programs there, and that's vitally important to the long-term economic prosperity and so many other reasons. And of course, we want the talent for this county to come from our college because we believe we'll be best prepared. And we know that people who stay at home and study at home are much more likely to want to work at home because if they go away, it's harder getting them to come back to the community. You're probably wondering, you know, $7 million capital investment, where is the provincial government on that investment? They clearly stated they would fund us for the degree program, but they will not fund us for the capital equipment. And I'll put it right on the table for you. The reason for that is they didn't want pushback from universities about going to some of these college campuses and diluting the capital funding. So this was a way they were able to get to yes. And so our board approved the $7 million project. And honestly, we're here today to ask for your help. We think it's an important project, and we're requesting $1 million from Grey County. And we're grateful, regardless of how you deliberate on this discussion. We're grateful that you've been wonderful partners. We hope you see this as an important initiative to you to be involved in, but we're always going to be great partners regardless. And I like to put that out when I ask partners to participate in one of our initiatives. And we're happy now, Chair Hicks, to answer any questions the committee may have.
Excellent, thank you very much. Can we get back to the main screen, please, Olivia? Maybe somebody needs, there we go. Awesome, that was a really good presentation. Thank you so much. I'm sure there are going to be questions, but before we get to the questions, I just want to say that presentation was not just good in the content that you presented, but how you presented it. Great pictures, nice font. I mean, I can go on. There's no question, Mary Lynn, that Georgian College has been important partners in many things. I think for Grey County, if I can think to economic development and training, now health and well-being, and perhaps even environmental footprint when we talk about the possibility for students to not have to travel back and forth. There is an environmental impact there. The other point being, of course, we don't have to sell local students on living here. They already know what they have here, and that bodes well for us. So thank you. Great presentation. I'm sold. I'm a partner. I'm sold. Where do I cut the check? You know, staff will just have to tell us where we can find this $1 million. But you know, you deserve our support. I mean, it would be, boy, can you imagine if we say we were partners with you all the way along the journey, and then you know, when it comes to the dollars, I think you have to put your money where your mouth is. So I'm you know, confident that you can be able to count on some support from us, hopefully at the level that you are requesting. But I'll turn things over to my colleagues because I'm sure that they have comments and questions as well. Members, Councillor Milne.
Thank you, Buck, and good afternoon, everyone. Great presentation, and I look forward to being a partner of some description here. But my question is, the comment, and I think it was, forgot, it might have been Kevin that mentioned it, that the first cohort would graduate in 2026 with 105 nurses. I'm wondering why you wouldn't be able to take some nurses coming through the system now, and instead of after 2 years sending them off to wherever, keep them close to home and graduate them in 2024, just to accelerate things. What is that not a possibility, or is that kind of a wait, just wait, it's going to happen? I don't know who wants to take that one.
I'm happy to take that one, Mary Lynn, unless you want to.
Go for it.
Okay, yeah, part of our arrangement with our current partner and part of our dissolution plan, if you will, that we submitted with the ministry was that students that entered a program with the program outline as it was and the existing relationship, that was part of our agreement, that they would follow the path that was available to them. So we are committed with the ministry and with our partner York University currently to help all those students successfully transition after year 2, and then we will start fresh. The other reason for that, though, and a great question for sure, the other reason for that is our program, and as Sheila and Sarah described much better than I, they are the experts in nursing, is that our program is actually different, and we built it to really serve the regional needs. And because of that, it actually is better for students to start, you know, with us day one and see that 4-year journey and build those partnerships and get into those placements. So yeah, I think we're certainly committed to those first set of graduates, and we're committed to helping those students now do that transfer. And I would have loved to see it work the way you've asked, for sure. But I think in the whole scope of the partnership, this just made sense.
And that's absolutely fair. I understand.
Good. If I could, Brian, because I asked the same question. Yeah, let's giddy up here. Let's get going. And so, another thing, not for now, but remember, this is a suite of, a cluster of health programs that we have there. And eventually we will work to diploma to degree completion in a different way than we currently do. Today, we have a great partnership with Ontario Tech University, where people can complete their diploma while they're working to turn it into a degree. It's complicated if you're in Owen Sound, and I can see a natural progression. I can't make a promise, but I can see a natural progression that we're going to have a whole bunch of things happen in the healthcare sector. Some people who are going to say, that's it, I'm hanging up, I'm hanging up my stethoscope. I've had enough, and let's hope they can hang on so that we have enough good people until we can start building the talent ourselves. But we've got other people who've had a great experience and a great foundation and have been working and have a lot of potential to maybe go to the next level. And so, that's another way for another day and another time. But I'm like you, I'm chomping at the bit saying what's next. And so let's get this one done well, but there's more available out there, I think, Brian.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for those answers. That's great. And it's very exciting. I'm excited to see the program actually starting to move forward. I had a tiny little part in the Marine Emergency Duties Program funding thing, and it's been a great program. It's had a great track record, and I fully expect that this program will do the same thing. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. Any other councillors? CAO.
Thanks, Mr. Warden. A couple of things. First, Jennifer Cornell, our Director of Long-Term Care, and I have had some conversations about, you mentioned in your presentation about the ongoing and increasing acuity that we're seeing in our long-term care residents. And one of the things, and I think this extends perhaps to our paramedics as well, whether or not this new facility might offer some opportunities for in-service learning for our staff. When if I can call it your off season, if there's an off season, is that something that you think we might be able to take advantage of with your staff and assisting ours?
Kim, it's good when you see the dean, the associate dean, and the president nodding their head. I had never thought of that, but of course, these are highly specialized areas. I think some of the local hospitals may be interested in some of the stuff we have as well. Although I know they also, have another route to go in order to get some simulation equipment. But we want to build a good relationship. We want to be complementary. And of course, by investing in that training, Jennifer, then when our students come to be on placement with you, this whole nursing is so reliant on the community, and who knows where that really begins, but we want to have a great relationship. So Kim, I can see that being a vital part, and you may even, if you agree to do something, you may even want to say that where possible you would like that, so that it kind of gets tightened up a little bit and nobody forgets that on the call we said that.
And if I may, I think it's a great comment, and particularly when we look at long-term care, but we're also looking at some of the things we're considering as developing with our agency partners is what I'm looking at, a phrase now, a bit of an academic partnership. So in appreciation for the placements for our students, what are the things that we can actually give back to our academic partners? So it is a give and take component. So if there are opportunities where we can provide some in-service support using the expertise of our faculty and appreciation for the unbelievable, phenomenal learning environments you're providing for our students, we're really looking at how do we start to build a lot more of those active that are truly partnerships. So I really appreciate your comment. We look forward to investigating that much further. Absolutely.
And Sarah, when we're teaching too, there are going to be healthcare professionals in the community that are going to know more than some of our faculty about certain topics, right? And so that's one of the good things I believe about the healthcare partnership we currently have right across the region, but we would like to expand that as well, right Sarah?
Absolutely. So bringing in those subject matter experts such as yourselves right into the classroom to share your experiences, to talk about what the context of care looks like, what does it mean to be practice ready, what are the unique needs. So really, again, that very iterative relationship, I think is just going to bring a huge wealth to that student experience. Absolutely.
So
great.
our staff to you, your staff to us, our space when it's not being used for students, those are all reasonable things for us to explore.
That's wonderful. Thank you. One last question. Beyond the ask that you've put forward to us today, is there anything else that we can do to try and support your goals or the implementation of this project?
Well, thanks, because I must say, I come here pretty humbly. Brian, thanks for remembering, the breakfast when we were in trouble on the Marine Center. And, I know it's a big ask. And I will say we have not done a lot of fundraising in the community, and we're very mindful right now about, how some of the medium and small businesses have had a very difficult piece. But if you can see your way clear to this and you can step up, it will help us leverage that with some of the other businesses that have been very successful throughout COVID. Kim, that's important. That's very, very important. And then there'll come a time when the government's going to realize we're on quotas in nursing, and they're going to realize that this quota is holding them back on their success. They're better to release the quotas than do an intervention, because an intervention is very difficult for them to get out of, as we've seen in the personal support worker realm, just recently. So, we may come to you at a time about that. And then finally, if I could just applaud, we haven't talked about international too much, but I'm a big believer, as any of you have ever heard me wax on, that, if we're going to deal with the talent shortage that I think our province is facing now and is about to face, international is a huge part of that, and continue the partnership with the county, because, we've recently done some research together and you've supported that. And I think that's a vital component to building more workers for your community and dealing with the shortage in that area, Kim. So hope that helps.
Thank you. So what I'm hearing is mi casa, su casa.
Right, good.
And speaking of seeing our way clear to the ask, we see a hand from the woman that controls the dollars. So she's probably going to lay out that roadmap for us, right, Mary Lou?
Thank you, Mr. Warden. I guess first I'll start off with being a proud Georgian grad myself. So this is exciting stuff. My question is, with regard to your ask, the time frame that you're looking for this.
Great question, Mary Lou. This wasn't in our plan, so my preference would be that if you could do it, you'd do it with a donation, and that if you have to spread it out over a couple of years, it be as minimal as possible. I know we have another longer term relationship on our joint economic initiative around the marine industry, but that's a longer term. We both kind of went into that knowing that was about bringing more people into the community. Your benefit was that we're bringing people from all over the country. And in fact, as Kevin has already said, during COVID, that even increased because we were able to continue and other places decided not to. So we've had a good couple of years on that. But my preference would be if you could see your way clear to doing it with one payment, that would be great. And if you need more time, then we should have a conversation about it. And Mary Lou, any follow up on that?
Sure. Just one quick question. When you think preferably one payment, and when would that payment?
Well, I can tell you we started and it would be nice to be paid before we had students next year or the year after. I don't know what your cash situation is. And and, you know, people who come humbly have to understand you have to manage that. But if it could be, you know, at the end of this year or next year, that would be great.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. I don't see any other hands, but I have a question. When I looked at your slide deck, when you talk about the distribution of first-year students, that pie chart, and it showed 48% coming from Grey County and 18% coming from Bruce County, which begs the question. If you're going to be approaching us, I would probably say you probably should be approaching Bruce County as well, because this is going to have a you know, an equally important impact on their footprint.
Great suggestion.
Any other questions or comments from anyone? So then I'm looking to staff, where do we go from here? Do we want to ask Mary Lou to take a look at the books, come back with some sort of recommendation? Where do we want to go from here?
Through you, Mr. Warden, is everyone clear that there will be a further delegation to Committee of the Whole on September 23rd? Yes, okay. So bringing forward to our next County Council meeting, both a discussion of the economic impact report that Mary Lynn mentioned, as well as bringing forward some of the information that you've heard today, likely a little bit less since we don't have the same amount of time, but making sure that all of County Council has the opportunity to hear this exciting news and ask their questions about the project. So certainly we could have some resolutions drafted for the Committee of the Whole meeting.
Would it be helpful, Madam CAO, to have a recommendation coming from this body to that meeting of County Council, you know, essentially supporting the idea of funding this project?
I believe so, yes.
And if that's the case, then I'd be looking for somebody to bring a motion or propose a motion that we support. Certainly, I'd be having my hand up if that motion were brought forward. Councillor Milne.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. I will make the motion that we support the ask, and that we seek the advice of staff as to the options of how to fund the request.
Very good. And I need a seconder for us to have a discussion about it, seconded by Councillor Hutchison. And now for discussion. Councillor Plumpus, did you were just trying to second or move, were you? Okay, did you have any comments to make? No, okay. Any comments from anyone else? If not, then I'm ready to call the question with the motion before us. So anyone opposed? Probably easiest. And seeing none opposed, that is carried. So that recommendation will go to council, and that's the 23rd, correct? Very good. Anything else from anyone? Let's go back to my agenda here, shouldn't I?
May I just thank you all for your great attention and your great support and appreciation for your time today. And of course, we're delighted, you know, with the outcome of what's happened here. So
well, this is all very exciting. It's been a bit of a haul, but we're so excited to see our work coming to fruition, and you know, very exciting on so many accounts. Great to see. Wonderful. Thank you for coming today and making that presentation. Very informative, and I'm sure that the rest of council will benefit from your presentation on the 23rd, with equally nice graphics and pictures.
Great.
All right.
Order.
I guess we do we have any other business? No other business. And item number 5, meeting dates. I guess that'll be to be determined. And with that said, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Klumpus and seconded by Councillor Hutchison. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, that's carried. Thank you so much. Great meeting.
Thank you.
Have a great
you
day.
all.
And
Thank you
take
so
care.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
You too.
You too.